Let's start with a kind of a wild thought. What if everything you remember about yourself, every single experience that makes you, just disappeared? If your entire life story was suddenly erased, who would even be left? Today, we're tackling a question that really gets to the very core of our existence.
Seriously, just for a second, really try to imagine that. You wake up and nothing is familiar. Not the room, not the pictures on the wall, not even the person you've always believed yourself to be. And that's, well, it's a terrifying thought, isn't it? Because it gets at this quiet truth that most of us just never really stop to question.
You know, we tend to think of our identity as this solid, permanent thing, like it's a rock. But this idea suggests it's actually way more fragile, that who we are is fundamentally, completely tied to our ability to simply remember who we've been.
I mean, think about it. When someone asks you that question, who are you? What do you say? You're not going to list off your biological facts or rattle off your DNA sequence, right? No, you tell a story. You talk about where you grew up, the people you've loved, the mistakes you regret, the big wins that shaped you. Your identity is the narrative that your brain has spent your entire life putting together.
Okay, so let's dive into that. How does our brain actually write this personal story? Well, it turns out there's a very specific part of your brain playing the lead role of both author and editor in the movie of your life.
Meet the hippocampus. Now this isn't some dusty old archive just storing files. No, it's an active, dynamic storyteller. With every single new thing you experience, it's constantly weaving that moment into the bigger tapestry of your life, almost asking, okay, how does this fit into the story of who I am? It is the thing that connects the you of yesterday to the you of right now.
But what happens when that storyteller starts to lose its words? To really understand this, we have to look at a real and often heartbreaking scenario, the progression of Alzheimer's disease.
You know, the process is so gradual. It starts with these little things we all do, misplacing our keys, forgetting a name here and there. But then it gets deeper. Conversations start to fracture and slip away. Familiar faces, like a child's or a spouse's, become uncertain. And in the late stages, entire chapters of a life, childhood, marriage, a career, they can just vanish. From the outside, it can really feel like the person is disappearing right in front of you.
But here is where the story takes this fascinating and profoundly human turn. Because even when the conscious, explicit memories start to fade, something else, something really essential, doesn't seem to vanish completely. There are these echoes that remain.
Just think about this for a minute. Someone might not be able to name their own spouse, but they still feel this deep, undeniable sense of comfort and safety when that person is in the room. They might not remember ever hearing a song before in their life, but their face just lights up when it plays. And that tells us something absolutely incredible.
And what's really going on here? Well, this slide breaks it down perfectly. It turns out our brain has two ways of storing our experiences. On one side, you've got explicit memory. That's the story, the facts, the events, the things you can consciously bring to mind. But on the other side, you have implicit memory, and that's the feeling, the unconscious skills, the emotions, the associations. It's why someone can forget ever learning to play piano, and yet their hands still remember the music.
And this distinction, this split between the story and the feeling, well, it changes everything. It takes our question out of the realm of pure biology and forces us to ask something much deeper, much more philosophical about who we really truly are.
So let's just pose the question directly. If your explicit memories, your entire life story, were gone, would the person that remains still be you?
So, philosophers have debated this for centuries. The continuity view basically says, no. Without that chain of memory linking your past and present, the continuity is broken. You are, for all intents and purposes, a different person. But the reconstruction view offers something more subtle. It argues that identity isn't some static thing we have, but something our brain is actively reconstructing in every single moment. And this brings us to a whole new way of thinking about it. Your sense of self isn't a noun, it's a verb. It's something your brain is doing right now, in this moment, stitching together memory and feeling and what you expect to happen, all to create the experience of being you. And when memory fails, the stitching changes, but that storyteller is still there, trying to make sense of whatever remains.
So what does this all mean then? It means this whole idea completely reframes how we think about our identity. It's not some dusty old photo album of the past. It is a living story that is constantly being rewritten. And what that means is that identity isn't just found in our past, it is alive in this very moment. It's in our immediate emotional reactions, it's in the feelings that bubble up without a clear source, and it's in the profound connections we can still feel with others, even when the why of that connection has been long forgotten.
So, the crucial point, the thing to really let sink in, is this. We are so much more than our library of memories. Our identity is an ongoing, living process. It's a story our brain keeps writing and rewriting, moment by moment.
And maybe the most hopeful, the most human takeaway from all of this is that when chapters of that story fade away, it isn't a complete erasure. Something essential, some trace of how we've been shaped by a lifetime of love and laughter and experience, it still remains.
And this leaves us with a final, powerful thought. If your identity is an active, ongoing process, then the story of you is being rewritten in this very moment. So the question isn't just who you were, but who, right now, are you in the process of becoming?